Have you ever believed that discipline is something people are simply born with? That only a select few have the mental toughness to wake up early, chase their dreams relentlessly, and perform at peak levels every day? The truth is, discipline is not a gift, it's a system. It is not a privilege of the elite. It is a habit formed through repeated, intentional action. And that habit can begin with something as simple as 2 minutes a day. We often confuse discipline with willpower. We imagine it as a constant internal battle, a forceful push against laziness. But real discipline is not built on brute strength. It's created through neuroscience-backed strategies that align with how the brain actually works. The truth is, willpower is like a match. It burns fast and dies quickly. True discipline, on the other hand, is like a slow-burning fire pit, fueled by repetition and sustained effort. It begins with a small, deliberate act, one so easy your brain can't resist it. That's where the 2-minute rule comes in. The 2-minute rule is simple. Make your habit so easy to start that it feels almost effortless. Put on your running shoes instead of trying to run 5 kilometers. Write one sentence instead of aiming for an entire chapter. Your brain doesn't feel threatened by these actions. It doesn't resist them. But once you start, you're more likely to keep going. And even if you stop after 2 minutes, you've already succeeded. You've cast a vote for the identity you're building. What makes this system so effective is that it bypasses the brain's default autopilot mode. Most of us live our lives responding to comfort, routine, and safety. When something feels hard, like starting a new fitness program or learning a new skill, our brain interprets it as a threat and throws up resistance. But 2 minutes? That's harmless, it's doable, and it becomes the gateway to reprogramming our neural pathways through repetition, also known as neuroplasticity. Consider this. If you've ever struggled with procrastination, it's not because you're lazy. It's because your nervous system has been trained to seek comfort. You may know what you should do, but your brain avoids perceived effort. The key to rewiring this is not pressure, it's repetition of the smallest action. These acts may seem trivial, but they become powerful through daily execution. Take the story of Sarah, a single mother working 2 jobs. She had no time, no money, and no energy to chase her dream of starting an online store. But she committed to writing down one product idea a day. Just 2 minutes of effort. A year later, she was running a 6-figure business. Or consider James, who hated how he looked and felt. Instead of committing to intense workouts, he began with 1 push-up a day. Over time, that turned into 30. Eventually, he lost 22 kilograms and completed a marathon. These transformations weren't built on dramatic overnight changes. They were built on quiet, consistent, daily action. Another crucial idea is anchoring your action to a specific time in your routine. Habits thrive when they are attached to existing behaviors, whether it's after brushing your teeth or before your first cup of coffee. Defining the time and place of your 2-minute action increases its likelihood of survival. It turns memory into momentum and intention into identity. Equally important is tracking your habit. Marking an X each day on a calendar may seem simplistic, but it's incredibly powerful. Each mark isn't just a record, it's a promise kept to yourself. Over time, these X's build self-trust, and self-trust is the foundation of discipline. You begin to see yourself differently, not as someone who tries and fails, but as someone who consistently shows up. People often wait for inspiration or motivation to take action. But the truth is, action breeds inspiration, not the other way around. You don't need to feel ready to start. You just need to start, and the readiness will come. Even on days when you're exhausted, unmotivated, or emotionally drained, 2 minutes is still doable. That's the beauty of this system. It leaves no room for excuses. Discipline isn't about achieving greatness in a single day. It's about winning the internal battle of 2 minutes, again and again. And each win sends a message to your brain. I am someone who takes action, Over time, this message becomes your identity. You no longer have to force action. You simply do it because it's who you are. And that's what real transformation is. It's not about pushing harder. It's about becoming different. The basal ganglia, the region of the brain responsible for storing habits, begins to encode your 2-minute action as a natural reflex. You don't think, you don't struggle, you act. And when you act consistently, your brain begins to believe, this is who I am. This subtle shift in identity has enormous consequences. Suddenly, you're not just someone who dreams about change. You're someone who embodies it. You're not seeking external motivation. You're powered by internal alignment. Your behavior reflects your beliefs, and your beliefs reflect your behavior. This feedback loop strengthens your sense of control and purpose. Moreover, discipline doesn't require perfection. You can fail. You can miss a day. But because the system is so simple, it's easy to get back on track. That flexibility is what makes it sustainable. Unlike rigid systems that collapse under pressure, the 2-minute rule adapts to your life, your energy, and your emotions. Consider Maria, a primary school teacher who had lost touch with her passion for painting. With a busy life, she believed art no longer had space. But then, she started with one brushstroke a day. That became a painting. That became a habit. A year later, she held her first art exhibition. Her transformation didn't come from inspiration. It came from a tiny, daily act. The 2-minute system is not about performance. It's about progress. It's about showing up even when life is chaotic. It's about choosing to act even when everything tells you to wait. And that's the deepest form of discipline. Doing what matters most when it's easiest to do nothing. There will be days when you're stressed, sad, or simply unmotivated. That's normal. The real question is not whether you can perform under perfect conditions. It's whether you can take one small step under imperfect ones. Because in those moments, 2 minutes becomes your anchor. It holds you to your values. It prevents you from falling backward. Eventually, these repeated 2-minute acts reshape your self-concept. You're no longer someone trying to be disciplined. You've become disciplined. You're no longer hoping for change. You're living it. That's the power of identity-based transformation. It starts from the inside and radiates outward. It's not just about goals. It's about the kind of person you believe you are. When you begin to believe you are someone who honors small commitments, your behavior shifts. Your confidence grows. You're no longer relying on hope or hype. You're building something real, something sustainable. You build from identity. You You start showing up differently in relationships, in work, in health. Your habits ripple outward, touching everything. The 2-minute system isn't just about starting a habit, it's about becoming someone new. So what can you do today? Choose one goal, just one. Health, writing, learning, finances, pick one. Define one 2-minute action that supports that goal. Anchor it to a specific time in your day. Track it, mark an X, keep it visible. Repeat it every day, even when life gets hard. You don't need permission. You don't need a full plan. You don't need more time. You just need to take 2 minutes today. And in doing so, you begin the most powerful transformation of all, the transformation of identity, not by force, not by pressure, but through deliberate, consistent repetition. Because the most profound change doesn't come from grand gestures. It comes from small acts repeated until they become who you are. The 2-minute system is not about achieving greatness. It's about refusing to quit, even on the hardest days. And that refusal, that quiet perseverance, is what separates dreamers from doers. Discipline isn't something you perform, it's something you become. And 2 minutes a day is where that journey begins.